It was only yesterday I was sitting down with a Year 7 boy, and he was saying, Mr. English, I've heard, you can ride for, these big rides. What's the biggest ride you've ever done? And I said, well, I'm going to do a ride for 24 hours on the weekend. And he's like, what?
It's a 24-hour race, so the riders start about midday on Saturday, and they go through until their last lap, which finishes after midday on Sunday. The riders can stop at any time and restart the race, but they do need to be on track at the end of the 24-hour period.
As far as I know, it still is the only solo 24-hour only race in the world, because all the other races tend to have teams attached.
This race, this weekend, is all solos. And because of that, it's a totally different atmosphere.
Even though it's a national championship and there's green and gold jerseys being handed out, it's got a vibe of just everyone's here for the same thing.
There are so many things that can happen in a solo 24-hour race. If you look at last year, Jason English won the race. He was 2 minutes and a few seconds in front of Dan Mackay. We're talking a puncture is the difference between the two.
The fittest guy on the day pretty much never wins in a 24-hour event. You've got a lot of skill, you've got a bit of luck picking the right lines. Could rain, have you packed the right tyres? You can plan for these things. So many variables as well with lights not working or getting flat tyres or ripping derailleurs off.
In the women, Jessica Douglas is here this year. She's the reigning Australian champion, and we'd certainly be expecting her to do pretty well. But you have some other women coming through the field.
Oh, I reckon Claire Graydon have a good crack.
All right.
Yeah, she's a good rider.
Okay.
Very fast, very fit, very local. She can do it, but just who can go the 24 hours in the girls? Like every person here, I'd love to win. I think I've got what it takes to win. I just have to get through. I'm breaking up the race into 6 4-hour races. I'll get through the first 4 hours, reassess, get through the next 4 hours, etc., etc. And that's how I like to play it, and I don't like to get too emotional or worry what other people are doing.
This weekend, Australian National Champs, I'm hoping to get 3 in a row. Can't guarantee it. There's a whole lot of very fast boys getting faster. It's really hard in the men's race. There's probably 5 guys that could all take it out.
You guys have got a tough gig this year, and Andrew Bell's been training his butt off.
Definitely Jason English, you can't go past that. But Andy Fellows up, he's riding really well. There's a few young guys ready to bring it up as well. So the pace could be on from the get-go. So you just got to be careful not to get too excited. Let them have their little bit of glory, and then hopefully take it away at some stage. Moving up.
The memorial armbands are for James Willow Williamson, who was a former world and national champion who died in South Africa a couple of weeks ago.
We've lost one of our favourite sons, and we've lost a very good bloke.
They've been given to all the riders today, and we'll take the rest to James's funeral on Friday.
The way when he did his 24s, he only did a few of them, but when he did them bloody well. He did them better than anyone else. He's probably he was the most scariest 24-hour racer we've ever seen in this country, for sure, if not the world.
I'd now like to call for a minute's silence in memory of James Williamson.
Patience is a very important thing for races like this. It's very easy at the start when the boys are, charging up the first hill, just to go, right, I'm onto this, come on, we're racing right from the start.
The hardest part is to get the first 6 hours out of the way. It's like, it's a 6-hour race, you've got to get out of the way. You know that people are going to go with you for that time, and you've just got to not worry about it. Once that 6 hours out of the way, I sort of take a deep breath and put a smile on my face and go, all right, we're in.
She loves this part of the race. She just loves smashing them, just loves any hurt she can put into people. This is the time she likes to do it.
Brett Bellchambers is leading the field on 9 laps. Now, 9 laps in 4.5 hours, that's 81 kilometres, and we're not even a fifth of the way through the race. He's on a single speed, so he's doing it tough out there.
The men's race is really exciting, super exciting. Ridiculous at a single speed, it should be almost illegal.
When Brett first broke away, I said to Jay, so I was about a minute up the road, he's like, yeah, that's fine. So he's very cruisy and easygoing and doesn't panic at that stage. But we've always joked about Brett, and Jay said that if ever he shows up on a geared bike, he'd be really worried.
Is there a battle going on between you and Jay?
No. I was just fast on the climbs and he's fast on the downhill.
Okay.
There's no battle.
Yes, so we did a bike swap then. He'll do a couple of laps on the new bike now while I put lights on the one he's just given me, because lights have to be on, I think, within the next hour or so. Seems happy, he doesn't ever say much, but yeah, he looks fine and he's having fun, and yeah, so good so far.
24-hour racing, I always say to people, it's every bit about the supporters as well. You know, without a good support person, you know, without Jason English would just be another mug punter. You know, his wife is really the reason he wins.
I would hate to have to rely on friends because I know it's just such tough work with not much love in return. I'm pretty lucky to have Norman. I think it's terribly important.
Yeah, we're trying to keep track of our riders' lap times and what time we anticipate them to be in, so we can be here ready for them with whatever food or drink we think they might need or want, although we end up deciding later on in the race what they need rather than letting them tell us.
Starting to feel a little bit sore, but enjoying chatting to people out on track, and yeah, lots of people are having fun.
We're at the 9-hour mark and we now have a dominant leader. Jason English rode his way back into the lead. The story was Jason, Brett Bellchambers, Jason, Brett Bellchambers. They were staying together. There wasn't really a move. At about the 5-hour mark, Jason put the foot down. It was half a minute at the end of that lap. It was 2 minutes at the end of that lap, and now 7 minutes 50 seconds is the lead from Jason. And second place has changed. Brett no longer holds down second. That's now Andrew Fellows. Third is John Blankenstein. Fourth, Andrew Bell. Fifth, Brett Bellchambers.
Yeah, he's fighting back a bit. He had a bad start. A couple of mechanicals, lost a pedal of all things. Looking pretty strong tonight, and he's settled into averagely 30-minute laps, and that's what he's doing all the way through now.
Brett's an amazing athlete, professional athlete. He's riding a single-speed hardtail. All those other guys at the pointy end of his category riding dual suspension bikes with a full complement of gears. So certainly he's going to feel that rough course a bit earlier than them.
Everyone in Australian solo knows Jess Douglas. She's really, really consistent. She's done this so many times. She's able to just go out there and do her thing, and she's doing it. She's 27 minutes. That's close enough to a lap at her speed in front. Second place, Claire Graydon, the Canberra girl. She knows this track. She's grown up on this track.
Claire's come out here with a goal of having fun and maybe improving on her last year's placing, but she's certainly not going to grind herself into the ground trying to catch Jess.
The battle for positions 2, 3, 4, 5 is really hotting up though. We've got Andy Fellows sitting in second, Blankenstein in third, Bell in fourth, and Bellchambers in fifth, and we're talking minutes between each of those riders.
Going well so far, more than halfway there. Jace is pretty comfy, a little bit sick in the guts. Got a bit carried away with the pizza, but he's backed off the pizza a bit now and he's coming good.
So Jess is still lap up in about 5 minutes, which is a great thing. You'd think that's easy pie. Now the issue is keeping her motivated. Some little goals will be whether she can pick up a spot in the men's. Another little goal will be whether she can potentially pick up another girl a lap up. Little things like that'll just give us something to aim for rather than just rotating around.
Now it gets tougher at night. We're here. The riders don't necessarily know where they are on track. They rely on their support crews so much more. They rely on the caffeine and they rely on keeping that motivation to tick them throughout the night.
Claire's feeling good. She's got a lot of experience with this sort of race. She's really good at managing fatigue and her food and knowing what she wants to have in terms of food and stimulants and all that sort of stuff. So she's doing really well. She's tired, of course.
About 15 minutes in the lead now over Andy Fellows, but Andy looks great and they're lapping similar lap times, and it's been that way for probably the last 3 or 4 laps. So yeah, just holding a nice lead, I guess.